I recently did a video about egos, and I took two people that are influential to me, and they both did videos on ego, and I took those videos and just broke them down, and a bit of my words, but put their words into it for better understanding for me. And so I also wanted, and today I'll do a video on certain examples of ego that are over the top. Egos that can hurt self as well as others around you when you just dealing with people in customer service, or just everyday people, dealing in all different types of a relationship, whether it be the workplace, intimate relationships, business relationships, neighbor relationships, etc. And so I noticed something about me the other day, and I was getting real irritated. So, and then I said, okay, I noticed what's around me is the energy, right? But not only that, what was getting inside of me, something else had happened within, family stuff. And so then I noticed the phone calls that I was getting real irritated, like, and then I noticed someone that smells very bad, and they came and they was looking at my expression. You could tell they were looking at my expression to see if I was going to make any type of an expression, because they know they smell bad. They know, blah, 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 blah. And so I was trying to keep that together, and even that was annoying the mess out of me. Usually I try to keep it together, whatever. It was just so annoying. But here with the ego thing, I wanted to find some examples so that I can know when I, instead of me looking at somebody and go, you got a big fat ego, And a lot of times when I deal with people, no matter what situation, whatever type of relationship it is, workplace, coworkers, this and that or whatever, I'll make jokes about things, and you and your big ego or this and that or whatever. But I seriously wanted to look and a little deeper and give examples and see examples so I can know, besides me pointing my finger, you big fat ego, me, like I need to look at me and say, you're having an experience, a ego, a huge ego that is and can be harming somebody else. So, that puts me in check as well. And so, let me see what I have here. Here's an example. Working in large workplaces, a hospital, large workplace. It says the senior nurse or supervisor refuses to listen to new ideas from staff, insisting only their way is correct, which stifles teamwork and can ultimately compromise patient safety. Leaders who take credit for other people's work. We know that all too well. Shut down or punish staff for speaking up. Creating a culture of fear. Increase turnover and reduce innovation. Like, why are so many people quitting? Why is the turnover here so high? Physicians or administrators with inflated egos may disregard protocols, belittle colleagues, or pull rank, leading to communication breakdowns and mistakes that impact patient care. So those inflated egos of pulling rank is more or less like abuse of power type deal. Intimate relationships, a partner who always blames the other, refuses to apologize, and insists on being right. This can happen in any relationship, and you'll see that they refuse to apologize. This defensiveness and unwillingness to compromise, it hurts the trust and the connection between you two. Or, it just hurts the relationship when we don't apologize or just flat out refuse to apologize and continue to blame the other person. Controlling or possessive behaviors rooted in ego, where one partner manages every aspect of the other person's life, leading to resentment and disconnection. That control, possessive behavior, and then if somebody don't do or say what you want them to do, they just blow a gasket, pretty much. Inability to show vulnerability because of ego, keeping emotional walls up and preventing true intimacy. Yeah, like you can't show that you're sensitive because of the ego. You keep your big gun-hole walls up. Like, I don't know. It doesn't help. It doesn't give you. Those are not good relationships when you have to do that, pretty much. Family, siblings, parents, stepchildren. A parent who asserts their view as the absolute truth, silences children's opinions, or refuses to admit mistakes, causing conflict, resentment, and low self-worth in children. I love talking to my oldest grandbaby, and she gives, she questions things, and I just try to keep it where, she won't hesitate to ask me a question that she disagrees with something I say or question something I say. No, talk about it. Let's talk about it. How do you feel? And I can understand that, and we can talk about it, and and then whether I don't agree or do agree, she doesn't feel shut down about it, just openly able to discuss. And you could tell she feels comfortable with stuff like that. Sibling rivalry, fueled by ego, where ones always seek to win or be seen as better, leading to long-standing grudges and lack of support. Siblings are difficult. Long-standing grudges or lack of support. I think generational jealousy can fall into that as well. Somehow that wraps around all of that stuff. And it's hard to get out of it. Stepchildren or step-parents who create division by insisting their needs or perspectives matter most, alienating others and creating family dysfunction. Nasty stuff, but when you get out, you got to do your own work and fight for yourself. Business settings, executives or team leaders who ignore feedback, micromanage staff, or dominate decision-making processes, causing low morale and high turnover. Entrepreneurs who are unable to listen, adapt, or accept criticism, leading to bad decisions and failed ventures. Now, I say here, accept criticism. The thing is, what if it's someone that has those difficult behaviors, those controlling, manipulating behaviors, and then they can twist that word of they don't accept criticism. they, they can twist it for their narrative. So that can be selective as well. It's not just as cut and dry as accepting criticism and adapt and unable to listen, things of that nature. Neighbors and community, individuals who believe their interests are more important, resulting in conflicts over shared resources or property disputes, and a unwillingness to cooperate or compromise. Homeowner association, members or block leaders who abuse authority, disregard the community's input, and enforce rules for personal gain or recognition. So in all of these cases, unchecked egos can cause unnecessary friction, erode trust, harm relationships, and ultimately block growth, safety, and collective success. This sounds to me like it falls under all those words that, some of us learn about is narcissism, narcissistic, gaslighting, all those things. I think they all go hand in hand. When you're not able to be an agreeable type person, like not being a sucker, not being not able to think for yourself, but someone that's just hardcore nasty, hardcore love to hurt other people and don't give a damn who you hurt, hardcore there's no more feelings. If I don't like you, if you're doing something that I don't do, I don't want to say it, but it's like taking people out and not giving 2 thoughts about it, But ego can be huge. I try to work on myself and check myself all the time because I am not perfect. Trust me, I am not perfect. And so I do like to learn about this stuff and how it may be affecting or hurting someone else. Now, it depends on who it is. Because if I'm distancing myself from you, there's a reason. Something like that.
So I was thinking a little bit more about the ego, and I gave, a little bit of examples, but I think we know once we feel something within our gut, what is ego on the surface, like the most outlandish, easy to identify people with the big ego that we label it as ego when we, the bad ego. There's different types of ego, but the bad ego that can hurt self and inflict pain and hurt and disgust upon others. And I was thinking about that just now. Something came to my mind. Is like everything you talk about will be flipped, fall under flip the script type deal. And depending on the narrative somebody's trying to bring about and get you to try to understand. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that, how they say don't call out narcissists. When you know, and it can be very dangerous if you call out, that's a narcissist, they're a narcissist, and this and that. And it's like, also, what's the point, right, of calling somebody out by calling them ego and all the other things, if you're in, I talk a lot about the workplace. That's where I've been all my life, is the workplace. Many different positions, many different work environments. And I use I'm not funny at all, but I try to use whatever humor I have inside of me to either try to de-escalate situations. A lot of times it works, but it depends on if someone have more psychological things going on that nothing you do or say will work. That's when intervention has to play a part. But with ego, I call it out when I'm joking. Not joking, but like trying to get someone to stop, drop, and roll, or stop and listen and say, listen, what you're doing is not helping yourself. What you're doing is not helping somebody else. You're hurting somebody else, So I'll say the word ego, big fat ego. Or I look at myself and say, you got that, calm it down. Like, what's up with the ego? And there's no reason, like if you call it out, it's not beneficial. I can only talk from my experience and the things I have seen and done. It's not beneficial to just call out and say the word ego. What is more have weight and substance to it is to, when you call out, whatever call out looks like to you, you mention the situation right then and there. Like, it's hard. A lot of times it's hard. It's like, let things go. I don't feel like being bothered. I'm sick of this person or this type of situation and this and that or whatever. But when you start to call things out, you don't just use one word. You use the exact situation as it is happening, as it is unfolding, and say things like, because you've said this is the actions behind what you've said, and this is why this and that and that and that. You have to say in detail exactly what is happening and how you see it and how you're affected, or how you see it is affecting others when you're talking to an individual, or when you're writing up a situation. You have to be detailed. You can't just say it's because of a narcissistic person, it's because of a person has an ego, it's because of this is just sick and toxic, environment or whatever. You have to be able to calm down, and think about exactly from point A to Z, exactly what happened. So those that are investigating, or those that when you're trying to get a solution solved, they can look at the exact things that has happened in order to bring about change, to change a policy, to change, to either write the person up, to get them to change, to let them know that what they're doing is not okay, give them a verbal or something like that. But it has to be detailed. They walked up the stairs, touched the rail, yelled at the picture on the wall, blah, blah, blah. You got to give details. And that's the main thing when it comes to protecting oneself, is definitely what I'm all about, is protecting yourself And when it gets to the point of looking at ego, the only thing I want to point out is how to protect oneself from those ridiculous egos that hurt you, hurt me, hurt them, hurt whatever, and that are vicious and vindictive and revengeful, you know. But you can't just use that word. You have to use detailed of exactly what's going down and what's happening.